Welcome to the Queendom, the entertaining ramblings of a single millennial woman trying to figure out adulting. We talk about life, love, sex, and just about everything in between. What's up? Welcome back. How are you all doing? I'm super excited for this show. We've had some really interesting shows lately, and I'm hoping we keep them this way. So today we do have two special guests, and I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is Sir Leo here with my young lady Nola Darling with DNA Kinks. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Appreciate it. And then, of course, our resident love of life, our favorite pothead, as she likes to be called,
Boogie with the hoodie.
Yes, yes.
What it do?
So I'm super excited about the show because Sir Leo, I met you at Exotica, which I can't talk enough about that experience. First off, once again, people, if you get the chance to go, you have to go. It is such an amazing experience.
Yeah.
But I did meet you at Exotica. We had some really cool conversation, and you are the founder of DNA Kinks, correct?
Yes, indeed. Me and my business partner. He was at Exotica, but he's a little bit more chill, low key. Yeah.
There's also, anytime there's a business partnership, there's always that one that's like out in the front, and then the person who's always more relaxed. I tend to be the person who is in everybody's face, so I completely understand. So tell me, how did you get to the point, or how did you all get to the point of starting DNA Kinks?
So what ended up happening was we was helping with different type of kink events. So like we had some swinger events we was helping with. We had like gangbang events we was helping with. And I monitored at quite a few people's events. So I originally started off as a play monitor, which is basically like somebody that's like, it's kind of like security, but it's a little bit more, I'm watching to make sure guys isn't doing too much out of the ordinary and making sure everything is safe, sane, and consensual. And in the process of doing those for some time, I realized like I really wanted to start something and add some touches to it, because it was a few things that was like, this could be better in this place, this could be better in this place. In addition to, a lot of the community is real heavily focused towards a certain demographic that didn't include people of color, right? And people of a younger age range. So I really wanted to make my own change and edits to that.
Okay. All right. So what are some of the things that specifically you offer with DNA Kinks? Like somebody's looking for.
So DNA Kinks, we primarily focus towards education and creating the opportunity for people to learn and indulge in different things, a part of the alternative lifestyle. So you got the education portion where I'm doing demos, teaching impact play. We have my business partner, he was teaching cunningless. So the education portion, then we got the event aspect, which the event aspect is where we host parties and different things like that. So that could be a swings party, that could be a kink party, play party, different stuff like that. We added some more things to the mix. So we creating a social club aspect where we have members that interact with other clubs and other groups in the lifestyle. So definitely got a bit on the mix. But for the most part, education and play events, play parties.
Okay. Now, as far as the lifestyle in itself, how do you identify in the lifestyle? How do you and Nola identify in the lifestyle?
So I identify as a dominant. Young lady identifies as a switch. And she can definitely talk more about that. So my journey started probably about, it was about a little bit more than 5 years ago. That's when my journey started. Getting more into the literature, understanding the concepts, the mindset necessary to, I guess, be more, how can I say, be more, I'm missing the words, but basically be an individual that's well-rounded in the space, right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Nola, with you, so, okay, let me ask you this then. I know, right? Because that sparked something. So, like many people, especially right now, the big thing to do is to go take the BDSM test at bdsmtest.org.
Right.
I've taken it a couple of times. I've noticed slight changes in different things. I'm pretty sure I know what a lot of it has to do with. It has to do with the fact that I've been learning so much, especially with the opportunity of this show and meeting so many people and being able to expand my knowledge. Now, one thing that has stayed consistent, or at least two things that have stayed consistent, would be 100% switch and 100% brat on there, which I personally love bratting. It is one of my favorite things to do. It is naturally a part of who I am. I'm not even going to lie. So how do you deal with your switch as far as the balancing of the dominant and submissive side? Because for me personally, one thing I have realized in learning a lot about this lifestyle is that I find it hard to kind of go to the submissive side, but it takes you have to have the right there we go.
So that's a real good question, young lady. I'm gonna let you go and grab that.
So
first, let people know what a switch is before you go a little bit more in details of her question.
Okay. A switch is one that plays a role as a dominant and a submissive. It could be 24-hour, it could be just in the bedroom, but for me, it's 24-hour, 24/7. As far as me, I'm an alpha female, so I am naturally dominant in life. When it comes to the submissive side, especially as a Black woman, I feel the same way. It was like I would never submissive. I have to say it's something that comes natural. It wasn't like I went out and actually was looking for a dom. I knew nothing about it. The only thing I knew about the lifestyle is I just did paid kink scenes. As far as like actually being in the lifestyle, it's very new. So to identify as a switch, it gives me balance. I have people where I can be dominant to and one that I can be submissive to. I'm not very submissive only to one person. So trust me, I understand.
Because listen, matter of fact, somebody asked me the question. They were like, so what does it take to make you submissive? I'm like, that's not something I can technically answer because it's not like, oh, there's a command word and it switches on. It's not that simple. It's my favorite reference to use is from the Jill Scott interview where she's like, if you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, then you can't tell me what to do. Exactly. It's one of those things, and like not everyone, and I tell people all this all the time, especially, everybody treats social media like a dating app and oh, I want to get to that. No, you don't. I will stress you out. I will run your blood pressure up because I know how I can be. And I'm very much the same way where it's like I'm pretty dominant across the board in my everyday life. So to be in a situation where I can be fully submissive, you gotta come with the right type of energy, and I need to be able to trust you.
Yes,
that's big.
Yeah. Yep. So that's that's a fun one. That's a fun one trying to explain to people when they're trying to get to know you, and then also they don't, because a lot of times what I've encountered, and this is with people who are in and not in the lifestyle, is that they make the assumption that they're due submission. No. Right. I don't have to submit to you. Just because, you see yourself as a dominant person. Just like I don't expect anyone to submit to me. A lot of times when I find myself in more dominant positions, it's just a natural flow of things. It's something that organically happens. It's not that I'm trying to force myself to be the dominant person. So it's wonderful to identify with somebody who understands that, because some people be looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'd be like, oh, y'all just don't get it. It's fine.
Balance. It's called balance.
Yeah. So how long have and I'm sorry, how do you want to be what is the word? The word just left my brain.
It's a
Acknowledge.
question. Oh,
Yeah. That I was looking for the word acknowledge. Yes.
Young lady?
Yes.
When you say acknowledge, you mean like what people call her?
Yes.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, Nola Darling.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. That's all. I just wanted to make sure because I did not ask that before, and I try to ask that before the show, and I completely forgot to ask that just in case. Okay, so
Oh, I'm a newbie. So this whole thing is like I had my awakening about a couple months ago.
Okay.
That's how we're gonna put it.
Nope, share your awakening, Nate. Please share. I love how everything came to pass with Nate.
Okay, picture it. Cicely, 2022, right? We have a mutual friend, and he just so happens to be explaining about a new toy that he purchased. Well, he called it a toy, but it was a chair. And then they went further and further in, and I found out that I was a dominant by nature. So that made sense. So then I took the test again. And my top three are voyeur, switch, and brat. So, and then dominant. So that makes a lot of sense. I just don't like doing what I'm told, and I don't care. And I do what I want. But I have a degrading praise kink.
Okay.
It's a degrading praise. It's such a beautiful thing.
I like it.
Heavier on the degrading more than the praise, and I was a little disturbed by that at first. Until now, like now, I don't care, but I'm a little bit more on the degraded side than the praise side.
Okay. Hey, check you out. You learning. That's what it's about.
It was extremely interesting for her to see the awakening in her eyes.
Yeah.
As this conversation was happening, because it's funny because the conversation actually started on TikTok. And for those who are on TikTok is extremely like sensitive to certain things, and you can get banned for just about anything. So we was like, hey, we need to get off TikTok and we're gonna have this conversation. And I think we moved over to like Duo or something because because everybody had different phones. So we moved over to Duo, and to see her face is we're talking about like the different things that the chair does, because of course it's a restraint chair, but it has access so that you can use a wand or some type of machine or something or whatever. So it has so many different options to it. And then
I found out about all the harnesses and the ropes and all the different I was like, yeah, my sex life this whole time has been boring, and I just knew I was doing stuff. I just knew I was doing some shit. Not at all. I was like, huh.
Which is another reason why. That's why I was so excited. Because, matter of fact, after I met you, as soon as you gave me your business card, I took a picture of it and sent it straight to her, like, hey, they in your area. I need you to look them up, because I've been telling her she needs to find a place that offers education, because I'm in Orlando, Florida currently. And that's kind of how I started my journey. Because I've been a sexual health educator with like Pure Romance for over 12 years now. And I had a sister consultant in the business who is in the lifestyle. And one day she invited us to a dungeon that had a class. And I was sitting there like, what? So I was like eating it up, and even got a chance to, try out a couple of things like wax play, cupping, and it was a couple other things that we tried. I can't remember everything that we tried that day. And I learned a lot about myself, as well as a few things about the relationship I was in at that time. That relationship was not going to be a BDSM relationship, because I could not trust that person like that. And I realized that there were some things that I had not participated in that I definitely was interested in participating in. And I needed to figure out how in the world I was going to make it happen. So I think it's so important to offer the education. Now, when you do the education, are you hosting classes? Or do people book classes with you? How exactly does that work?
Generally, it's like a public situation where I'm doing demos and then people come and I teach. Not as much. I do something private, right? But I definitely can do something that's more private for groups or whatever the case may be.
Okay, all right. What are some key things that if anyone is telling you that they're interested in the lifestyle, what are some key things that you think are important that they need to think about?
Some key things that I think are important for them to think about before jumping in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say the biggest things that I feel is getting to the point where you become accepting of what you like and who you are. A lot of resistance come it can look from the outside, right? So that's one of the biggest reasons I made DNA Kinks is to create a space where people can be free and accepting. DNA Kinks, the name came from my belief in that your kinks are a part of your DNA. Just like you just don't come out the womb saying, "Oh, I'm gonna magically land on my favorite color." Your favorite color is just your favorite color for whatever reason your favorite color is, but you're not gonna go through life trying to force your favorite color to change. You feel what I'm saying? So when it comes to your kinks, I feel like it's something it's just within you. So don't try to run away from it. Just embrace that your kinks are what they are.
I think that's pretty dope, especially for the Black community, because I feel like this area, the lifestyle in itself has been seen as such a white thing, quote unquote, for so long. And so when you speak about it to some people, they automatically look at you weird, like Black folk don't do that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you would be surprised. You would be so surprised.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think is that makes it even more special that you all started this business, because it offers a safe space for people who look like us to educate us on the lifestyle, because I do believe the lifestyle looks very different for us because of cultural reasons and cultural aspects than it does for others.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people, I think that's part of the reason why so many people shy away from it until they realize that it's actually some things that most people do in quote unquote vanilla relationships that are kink based. But they just don't realize it because it seems like some everyday stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny you say that. So for one, I like to say Black people we are naturally conservative. Conservative meaning we tend to stick to what's common already amongst us, right? So it has its pros and cons, right? We are kind of like an immovable force. It's hard to bring about change from a cultural standpoint. But in this regards, it's very common. People be like, "Oh, that's that white people stuff." We don't do stuff like that, which can be negative in the case of because people won't explore, right? But the funny thing is what you just said is some of the things that people do in the vanilla world has a kink base to it, and I tell people this a lot, especially within the Black community. So, for example, technically in my eyes, everybody is already in an open relationship. Everybody is already in a form of poly. It's just not agreed upon and accepted to. People got their friends with benefits. People got their entanglements. All of those are just have characteristics of relationships that's open, right? Another thing that's common, it's real common that, so for example, I'm gonna use strippers for an example. To me, that's just an extension of an exhibitionist. An exhibitionist is an individual that want to, can you hear me? Okay. An exhibitionist is an individual that wants to be seen, right? Publicly. What else is common? Men have within the culture, men have a big fetish about big butts, right? Some women have a fetish about men with money. All of that is something I put in the kink category. And then people have a lot of people don't like to speak about being promiscuous, but are promiscuous, and that falls under the swinger category. So yeah, I feel like we have a natural kink, but it's just seen in a negative way, or people want to hide it and don't think of it as such.
Like CNC.
Yeah, CNC. Look at that girl learn some vocabulary. Check her out.
Look,
The
CNC
first
is.
I realized when I was doing research and stuff, and I looked up like a list. I'm like, yo, there's a lot of people that's in the CNC and don't realize it, because if you wake somebody up with a good morning and they not necessarily up, that's not that's what that is. And I do it a lot, and nobody stops it. So
Those that
Yeah.
don't know, CNC is consensual non-consent, which is yes, it's
when you decide to wake up somebody by giving them head, or if you just ram it up there.
well, wow, okay, with the ram,
Yeah,
jeez.
I don't know why I couldn't think of another word. It
Okay,
just
because that's a bit aggressive.
Yeah.
sorry.
Ultimately, the fundamentals of CNC is doing some things that's not exactly consensual, but basically they haven't. So in this case, one never said, "Okay, I consent to you waking me up with giving me head or waking me up by doing these things to me." Right? That is a how can I? That's a lighter form, I would say, of CNC.
Mhm.
CNC can definitely get a little bit more intense. But yeah, and I feel like I in ways I do agree. A lot of things people are into has a characteristic of CNC. I don't necessarily me talking about others making the statement of I don't necessarily need somebody to tell me to do, like, some people prefer just to do it to me. Like, however you want to do it to me, right? Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. And
Yeah.
you know what? As you were describing the different things, I was like, I never really thought about it that way. But yeah, like a stripper would be an exhibitionist. So huh. And see, I
People
was
that
thinking,
go,
huh,
people that go to peep, just like the ones that go to peep shows. That's a
a warrior.
Yeah. Yep.
Never
Yeah.
thought about it that way. Because I mean, don't get me
thinking.
wrong, I like my fair share of stripper shows, but you got to be able to do something. That's a whole nother story though. Because I'm picky about strippers, and if you're gonna get my money, you
Yeah,
gotta.
I only like to see women strippers. I don't mean no offense to the male strippers that do their job, but I just like women are a lot more
Anyway.
Listen, I feel like if you see one male stripper, you've seen them all because they all do just about the same thing. I'm rarely surprised at this point in my life if I go to something and there's male strippers. I'm rarely surprised. They're gonna try and find the big girl in the room to pick them up. They gotta show their strength. They all gonna do the same body rolls and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. But now if I go to the female stripper club, now if you just finna sit up here and shake your ass, I can shake my own ass. I need you up this pole. You got to do
They
some
do
tricks.
acrobat.
Yes, I
They
need you to do
do
some
acrobat.
things.
Like
Show
acrobatic
off.
flips and listen, I want an experience, and women are just so much more entertaining. It's just a sight to see. But
It
I,
is.
you know,
But yeah, and see, I was thinking more along the lines of like, spanking and choking and stuff like that. Those are things that a lot of people do in vanilla relationships.
Yeah.
But they don't see it as a kink. And I'm like, but it
but it
kind of
is.
is. It
Yeah.
is. And because I think a lot of people think the automatic extreme of thinking, they see the bondage and the
Yeah.
super intense scenes that some people put on,
Yeah.
and that's the main view that they have
Yeah.
of the lifestyle. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it doesn't have to be that intense or that extreme. There's so
Yeah.
many different levels to it and so many different ways to experience the lifestyle. And Lord, the toys, Jesus, it's a
Yeah.
wonderful place to be.
Yeah,
It's
I definitely agree. We as a people definitely see the exaggerated and then get afraid, and it's definitely a continuum. It's not it must be this. It's definitely a
Mhm.
continuum. There's a spectrum. You have the lighter things, and then you have the more intense things. So when I do my impact scenes is more sensual, right? It's more caressing. It's more body touching and rubbing. When I'm flogging or spanking, it's not very extreme at all.
Okay. Now, I personally love a good flogging. For those who heard the last episode, I had Daddy Health on, and I actually got the chance to experience a flogging from Daddy Health. Um, And before that, I had experienced the flogging before, but like this was something a little different. This was very different. It was very much a lot more intense than any other flogging I had experienced. And I'm pretty sure a lot of it had to do, one, with the quality of floggers that he had, because let's just be honest, there's some that are very cheap and light, and they just don't give that same, impact as others do. So with impact play, what are your favorite tools for impact play?
Outside of flogger is definitely one of them. I really enjoy the flogger. I've been working on getting a little bit better at creating more of a show or an appeal when I'm doing flogging. I also like my paddle. I got a nice size paddle. The other one is, so I identify as how can I say, sensual sadist. I like to give pain if it's something that's pleasured, right? So I have a slight sadistic touch. Like I can go to the extreme given I know it's something that's enjoyable. So one of the things that I like is the cane, which is like a wooden rod, and it has a nice big sting that you can put.
Your face got real excited.
Yeah. Young lady not too fond of the cane.
Listen.
Yeah. Another one of my favorites is the pinwheel. I like the pinwheel. People underestimate the pinwheel by looking at it. But yeah, I really like the pinwheel.
All I'm gonna say is a pinwheel straight out the freezer.
Now that I never tried, but I like that, because that introduces a different extent to sensation play, right?
Yes, Nay.
Yeah.
The pinwheel looks like a spur on the back of a cowboy boot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a perfect description. Yeah,
that's exactly what it looks like.
Okay.
And so you can, telling my business. So I have a set. I'm gonna tell my damn business. So I have a set. In my set, it's 1, 3, 5, and 7.
Okay, so that's how many rows it is on them.
And when I say drop them bad boys in the freezer for a little while, let them get nice and cold. And then I have what's called a hot heart from Pure Romance. So it's like a heated massage thing, and you alternate between the two. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. That's
Nice.
It's a beautiful thing. Temperature play is quite fun with stuff like that. Very much so.
All right.
But it gives a nice sensation.
You say all right. No, but it's definitely something that's underestimated. When it's on you, the reaction is typically it's common in a sense of like, oh, that actually feels good. That's better than I was thinking it was gonna be.
Right. Because when you first see it, it looks like you're not gonna roll that across my skin. That does not look like it's gonna be comfortable.
That's all I'm thinking. Like, yo, that can't.
Listen, it is the first time I experienced it, it was quite surprising. And like the person was giving me a massage, and then they added it, and it was like, oh, well, that's not what I was expecting, but it was quite nice. I ain't gonna lie. And then I was like, Amazon, we're gonna order her own set. So had to make sure I got my own set so I can have, anyway, for whenever.
That reminds me of another one of my favorite. I don't do it as much. That's knife play.
Listen, okay, so I'm happy you brought that up because I have been so interested in knife play.
Yeah.
I'm just like, once again, I gotta find somebody who knows what the hell they doing, because I really would hate to send somebody, to the hospital because they got a little too, they don't know what they're doing and they messed up. So, explain what knife play is for those who don't know, because I know people hear knife play and they're like, you want somebody to sit up here and cut you?
Yeah.
It's not exactly.
So knife play is like one of the most common things people get afraid of. Like knife play, like exactly like you said, you gonna put a knife on? No. So if I was to try to summarize it, to me it's like a caress with a knife with a little bit of, how can I say, some things that heighten the senses from like making it pinch just a little bit. But for the most part, I'm caressing with the knife. Similar to what I'm doing with the pinwheel. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay. And I'm one of those people. For the most part, I'm open to try just about anything. So I've never tried knife play, so I'm down to try it at least once to see whether or not I really like it. Now there's some things I already know that are hard nose for me, and that's fine.
Right.
And I'm comfortable in my hard nose. Just about everything else, I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah. And
but
then
go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, just like anything, it has a continuum. It's a spectrum, right? So mine is typically on the sensual side. You can do more exaggerated things with actual cutting, but that's on a different level of things, right? So I usually play with it from a knife standpoint on the more sensual side, with a little dabble on making it a little more, how can I say? It depends on the person, but typically, always the beginning. A lot of it'll take me a few sessions to recognize somebody comfortable with going right. I don't just go to that and add certain things in there without having an understanding of people's pain tolerance and interest, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nola, what are some of your favorite kinks?
I would have to say mine would be rope play, wax play, probably about them too. I do impact play. I'm not to the extreme. But most definitely rope play is one of my favorites. It's very therapeutic.
So with role play, are you doing suspension or are you just the bondage portion?
Both. Well, I like to get it done on. I don't do it yet. I'm actually will be taking classes soon. So I like both actually.
So okay, so role play is another one that I've had a little bit of experience, but nothing too intense with it. And
Definitely.
very much so. Now she meet her as a plush pal. So the suspension portion, I ain't gonna lie, it interests me, but at the same time, I'm like, what y'all not finna do?
The shit out of me.
Right. What you not finna do is have me up here looking like a stuffed pig over a fire, and then I fall. So we be real kind of like, I don't know about that one. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, my bad, Nate. What I'm just saying, because every time I see it, don't get me wrong, it looks extremely beautiful because they do the designs, and it's just the way that you see the people literally being carefree, just being 100% free. They're letting their bodies go. They're trusting completely in that moment with the person, with the rigger, in that current moment. And it's like, that looks amazing. But this band, listen, because I don't always see a lot of people who look like me.
Yeah.
In these scenes, you know what I mean? So I'd be like, that would be interesting, but I don't know if
Hey, Irene. I'm gonna step off for a quick second.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So that'd be my only hang up with it. So no, I don't remember if you said, how long have you been in the lifestyle?
So I've been in the lifestyle for 10 years on and off. I started out actually as a content creator. And then from there I was doing paid kink scenes and paid BDSM. That's when I knew when it came to the alternative lifestyle that I was more into kink than actually doing scenes, porn, basically. Creating videos. I notice when it comes down to Black women, when it comes down to making scenes, we're not treated equally. We don't get the same fame, and really it's just not for us. So I noticed doing kink is more like it's no intercourse. It's you're finding out more about yourself, and I just felt as though like kink is just for me. So about 10 years on and off.
Okay. And it's interesting that you mentioned that about, being in the, as far as like porn and stuff that goes. A few episodes ago, a young lady that I know, we had her on and she was talking about her experience as far as doing, she's done like OnlyFans and it was another site that she mentioned, but she's more recently been on, I think it's called Black Touch, which is all black, basically porn website where they do actually some very beautiful scenes. Like when you see the promos for it, you think it's like the start of a movie versus like actual porn. And it's really dope. They have a page on Instagram, and she was just saying just the experience was totally different working with them and being able to create content for them and things like that. So I thought that was something really cool that there is now a space for us, and it doesn't look janky, basically. You know what I mean? Like it really is really good quality and things of that nature. So I thought that was really dope. So Nay,
Yes.
do you have any questions? I always got to check in with Nay because Nay will get stuck for a second and just be surprised by everything.
I'm getting better. I'm getting a little better. Not as shocked as much now. I'm getting a little bit better. I learned about a pinwheel today, so that's good. See, I learned today. Cause no, I don't have any though.
Okay.
I keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, I thought the conversation you ain't having some more questions. I was gonna piggyback off an old conversation that was brought up.
Good.
We was communicating about being an alpha female, right? And people ask you what it takes for you to switch into the role of a submissive role. And I was gonna add a few things to that conversation.
Please, by all means.
So in my experience, the one word summary that I can give is the energy. That's the biggest thing. And in addition to what you already stated, which is the trust aspect, a lot of times men like to believe it's these key things that they can do, and it's just gonna make this automatic thing happen. And it doesn't exactly work like that. It's very much so energy and trust, right? I'm not the type of individual that identify as a dom from the standpoint of me having to be like loud and boisterous and demanding, right? The way I see a dominant, I translate it in my head as a leader, right? So ultimately, I aim to just put myself at a place where I would feel like I would be a good leader to myself, right? So as long as I'm aiming to be a good leader, I feel like it's naturally a come. With addition to a few other, so for example, the trusting thing is not something that's forced. So these things is not forced, right? It comes by interacting with a person, right? It's definitely not something I can say, do this, and you in the door, right? Nah, it takes more than that. It definitely takes more than that.
It does, and I think that's one of the things that is missed a lot, and that goes for regardless of whether or not you're in a kink relationship or not. At the end of the day, in order to just be in a dominant or a leadership type position, you have to understand like you can't bully your way into it.
Yeah.
Because if you bully your way into it, then all that's going to happen is one day somebody going to get tired of you and they're going to push you out the way. It's just, and especially when it comes to the lifestyle, if you're trying to bully yourself into being someone's dominant, then that is a very unsafe situation to be in as a submissive. And it can go south very quickly and be extremely dangerous, because at that point, me personally, I don't feel like you're actually caring and concerned with the safety of the person that is stepping into the submissive role if you're trying to bully your way into being their dominant. Because above all else, you should want the person to wholeheartedly trust you, not fear you, but trust you. Whereas in the bully standpoint, I feel like that is leading from a place of, I want you to fear me and just do what I say. And that's never okay. That is never a safe space to be in, or any of that. Now, I just had a question and it just left my brain. I hate when that happens.
No, it's all right.
So, okay, so speaking towards because I know when we were talking about the ways that people are actually have kink-based things going on in their life, even if they live a vanilla life or if they have vanilla relationships. When it comes to poly, one of the things that I think a lot of people automatically assume with the lifestyle is that, oh, you automatically must want to do poly. But I know of several people, myself included, who prefer a monogamous relationship when it comes to the kink. Because like one of my really good friends, Samantha, she is a full submissive. She identifies as a kitty. She's a nice submissive. When I'm submissive, I'm finna stress you out on purpose. So, but that's one of the things that we definitely both agree. Listen, in a glass of sweet tea in my hand, okay? But that's one of the things that we both agree on, is that I totally respect, because I believe for someone to be in a true poly relationship, whether it's kink based or not, or as far as like whether or not they practice BDSM, at the end of the day, the level of trust and communication that has to go into it is so extreme and important. Well, I don't want to say extreme, but it's just has to be at a very high level, because there's not just two people's, feelings and emotions in play. There's three or more, depending on the type of poly relationship that you're on. We had one young lady on here who, at the time, had a total of 9 partners.
Interesting.
That face, right? The same face that we all make, because we all was like, "What?"
she has a calendar and has it all organized, and yeah, she got a whole roster over there.
And she said everybody get a message before 6 a.m.
Not even awake.
Not fully functioning at 6 a.m. But where, how do you balance the lifestyle or any other relationships that you have? Are all, if you are poly, are all your partners a part of the lifestyle, or do you have like a main partner who's not in the lifestyle? Like, how does that work for you, or where do you stand with that? I guess it's a better question.
So the biggest thing is communication, right? Communicating about what it is each person desire, what it is each person's boundaries, right? And in our situation, we are indeed poly. A lot of people in BDSM are also monogamous, right? So it's definitely a thing. Me in my hand, I'm definitely poly. The way our dynamic works, we are technically in an open relationship. Young lady is free to see who she wishes, but when it becomes serious, it requires an approval on my behalf. Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. I don't, I'm bad at sharing is my problem. I'm not even going to hide it. That is when I like, okay, so there's one thing, if we just, as you said, like earlier, if we're friends with benefits and we kicking it or whatever, as long as we have our communication, we have our understanding of what it is, you're being safe and all that kind of stuff, I'm being safe, then such is life. But now once you become my person, don't touch it. As the wonderful Nate Boogie says, if you my fish, don't touch my fish. I don't want nobody else touching my fish. This is my fish. You go find other fish in the sea, because don't touch my fish. In that sense, I am extremely territorial.
And in all honesty, I don't have the attention span. So Yeah, it wouldn't. Somebody's feelings would get hurt, and I'm too and I'm too much of an asshole because I'll just be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I know me. I don't have. It takes a lot for me to pay attention to one person, let alone multiple people.
Very much so, because
I just know me and my attention span is not. That's why me dating multiple people never works because somebody always gets forgotten about.
and it's not on purpose per
It's really
se.
not on purpose. It's an out of sight,
It's
out of mind thing.
that
If
part. It's like, that's how I
if
know I can't. It's too
if
much.
it's not mutual for me, it don't work because it's like I don't want to feel like I'm always the one having to reach out or having to say something. So once I feel like I'm doing it too much, I'll stop. And then if the other person doesn't do it, all right, I'm on to the next thing. So I know me when the lady that was on the show a couple episodes ago explained her Google Calendar. I said, "Oh, there's no way in hell I'd be able to keep up with that about like the second or third person. I'd be like, all right, the rest of y'all hope y'all alive. I'm going about my business. I'm not doing all of that.
Look,
I can't.
I barely keep up with my own day-to-day life, and you want me to throw in the mix a couple other people too? Baby, I can't.
Coach.
I got mom brain all the time. I'm supposed to think about somebody else other than that little boy. Yeah. Like,
So poly is complex in a few senses. I see two components of it. It is from your perspective and from your partner's perspective, right? So, for example, in the case of you saying you wouldn't want to share, okay, in that case, that means you wouldn't want to share your partner with another woman, right? But then from the other perspective, does that mean you also wouldn't want to have two male partners, right?
I don't.
Okay.
You want to know
Okay.
why? My nerves is bad. My nerves is bad. I can't. I already get irritated, and I'll be like, "You're trying my life," especially at this point. At this point in my life, don't get me wrong. I've had my moments when I'm single of, having different people that I was communicating with and all that kind of stuff. And it's very much okay, I don't want to talk to none of y'all today because it's too much because you have to always be, I don't want to say be there or be on for someone, but that's what it feels like when you are dealing with multiple people to me. And I don't want to. I don't like. I've gotten to such a point of enjoying my alone time and down, and when I have my time with this person that I'm spending time with, then it's cool. Let's go. I don't want to have that with multiple people at this point in my life. After and I'm real close to not having it with anyone because I have just been enjoying this single season and this peace that I have because some of y'all is raggedy out there. I swear to God, some of y'all raggedy. Not all of y'all, but some of y'all is raggedy out there. So, but I definitely understand. I think it's a beautiful thing because I have met some people who have had some amazing poly relationships, and they have had beautiful communication, and you see the love. And I do understand, and I do believe that for some people, they can love multiple people. I don't take that away from people. It ain't, I'm not one of them because, and maybe it's because I be hyper focused on stuff. I think that's another part of it. So when I'm with a person, like I'm focused on that person, and like that's where all my energy goes. And if my energy like goes somewhere else, that means it ain't gonna last long for me.
I get bored entirely too easily.
I see something shiny half the time, and I'm off somewhere else. So let's just look. ADHD is a real thing, okay?
Definitely is.
So, and people don't realize that like it actually can affect your relationship, and in that sense, it definitely does. Because baby, if your brain go left in the middle of you supposed to be doing what you're doing, damn. I'm so sorry for that man. I'm so sorry for that man because it can be over. It is a crazy place to be. But because I've had the experiences of, because I do believe when you're single, you should be free to date as many people as you want. have your fun, do whatever you do. But once you make that decision to make a commitment to somebody, unless you all have that agreement that you all are going into a poly relationship, then you have to be respectful of that situation. And I just know how I am during that time. I just somebody is going to get hurt. Somebody's feelings going to be hurt, and it's not going to be something that I would do intentionally. I just know how I am as a person when I'm in a relationship, um because I'm about that person. And mentally, I don't believe I have not found myself to be able to handle the capacity of multiple relationships at that level at the same time. It's not for me. So to everybody out there that keep asking me, no. Because I've gotten that question, but I think you would. No, I wouldn't. No, I
No,
wouldn't.
sir, no, ma'am, no bacon, no ham.
I promise you I wouldn't. I know me. At 37, I know myself. I would.
That's real. That's real.
All right, y'all. So we have come to the end of the show. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all introduce yourself. Let them know where they can find you. Anything that you have going on, go ahead and shout all of that stuff out. Let the people know what's going on.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So DNA underscore Kinks on Instagram, Twitter, for everything DNA Kinks related, whether it's events, education, classes, or whatever the case may be. Everything specifically to do with me and me as a professional dom is under Sir underscore Black underscore Leo, on Instagram and Twitter. On FetLife is Black underscore Leo. And then with Nola.
So on Twitter, you can find me at Nola Darling 87. On my Instagram, you can find me at Corrupt by Nature, spelled out KORRUPT.BY.NATURE. On my FetLife, it's also Nola Darling. I gotta spell it out. Nola underscore. Don't forget the underscore. Nola underscore Darling 24/7.
Oh,
Yes,
and Snake Boogie with the hoodie.
Slut Bestie.
Oh, Slut Bestie. So,
Slut Bestie.
Wait, what? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Slut Bestie.
I just begun this movement called Slut Bestie. Slut Bestie is a slut best friend that you can call and tell her about some of your sex stories or your shenanigans without being shamed. Maybe link up to possibly have threesomes or gangbangs and but my goal is to have slut besties in each state. So for instance, say I'm going to Atlanta and I connected with a girl that is into maybe the same things I'm into. I can call her up like, hey, you want to link up to go do slut stuff. But also it's not just about doing slut stuff. It's also building a sacred space for women to discuss the kinky things that they're into without being shamed and things like that.
Listen.
So as far as Slut Bestie, we also have a Twitter page that we just started. It's at Slut Bestie 1. You can go on there. You can even find it on my regular page, Twitter page, Nola Darling. The link is in the bio as well. So we finna take off with that.
Chat groups coming up.
Chat groups, live videos with discussions, merch pretty soon. We finna go big with it.
Come on. Listen, I'm all that, baby. Hey, sign me up for the conversations.
Okay.
I'm not the one
like,
for the threesomes. I'm not going to judge you
for
nothing.
Or something. Right, I can go to a lounge and we can sit there and talk about all the nasty, filthy shit you did. I ain't gonna judge you at all.
I can be your wing woman. I'm good for that, baby. I can spit some game now. If you need a good wing woman, I got you.
She gives an awesome pep talk. She gives an awesome pep talk. I'll say that.
I do. I will set you up for the best, and I will listen to all your stories. The other part, we're gonna have to find somebody else for, but that's all. That's fine.
Yeah, and that's fine too.
Because you saw as soon as she said somebody to listen to you,
was like,
But hey, if you need somebody, well, I'm currently in Florida, but I'm about to move. You need somebody to just call up and listen to. Hey, you can put me on that list. I am here for the conversations and the stories.
I'm in good old Be More. If you want to smoke smoke and drink and talk about it, I'm here. You know,
that's what it's about.
Listen, because everybody needs to be able to talk to somebody who's not gonna judge them. And baby, I am the least judgmental person ever in
I
life.
can't judge. I can't judge nothing.
Listen, I yeah, I ain't got no
That's a
room to judge
story for
nobody.
another day.
Listen, I ain't got no room to judge nobody. So, all right. So, oh yeah, we definitely gonna have to make sure we follow all of that because I want to see what's. I'm here for it.
I'm definitely here for the slut bestie.
Yes.
All
right.
Well, Nay Boogie with the hoodie on TikTok. Nay Boogie 88 on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And I got stuff brewing. So once I narrow it down and get everything lined up right, y'all know about it.
And per usual, it's Irene the Passion Queen across all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It don't be much on Facebook, but you know, hey. And make sure y'all check out the queendomme.com, TheQueendomme.com. Get your copy of Vacation and Vacation merch. The second book, The Purple Dungeon, will be out later this year, beginning of next year. Once I have the official date, I definitely will let you guys know. If you can, go check out the Exotica Expo in New Jersey, Edison, New Jersey. I think it's October 24th weekend. And then DC is December 2nd. I'm trying to be in DC for December 2nd. I'm not going to make Jersey, but I'm trying to be in DC.
That's the best one.
What, Jersey?
I'm going to DC.
Well, Jersey is a good one, but the one in the DMV, we're actually going to be hosting a after party.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You should definitely come to that one.
I'm only 45 minutes away. I'm coming.
Listen, okay. So we working on it. We working on DC. We working on making DC a thing. We are definitely working on making DC a thing. But I want to say thank you so much for y'all coming onto the show, sharing your information, your knowledge with us. And until next time, y'all have a good one.
Yes,
Bye.
indeed. Yes, indeed.